Good evening, everyone. My name is Katrina McConnell, and I want to tell everyone something that has been impacting me while during this quarantine. I have always been intrigued and interested in poetry, and I know I have a favorite book, but I'm interested in most poetry. I had lost my favorite book about a yearish ago, maybe like 6 months ago, and I was kind of upset, but I was like, whatever, I still have other books I can read. And the other day, whenever I was redoing my room, I had found it. I was so excited, and I was hooked instantly back onto my book. The book is called, grab it real quick, There Were Words. It's written by David Bowden, and I had actually met him at Winterfest in Gatlinburg, where I got this book, and I even got it signed. I remember whenever I got this book, I was going through a little bit of like a crisis, kind of. I was kind of having like a minor panic attack because I was just surrounded by too many people and it just freaked me out a little bit too much. So I was like, I'm gonna go on a walk. And I went on a walk and I ended up stumbling upon this book and met David Bowden when I was doing it. So I was like, whatever, that's cool. There is one poem in this that has impacted me recently. It is actually the first book in here. It's the first in this book. It's the first poem in there. It's a couple pages long. I plan on reading it in a minute, but it's called "The Death and His Sting." It's like discussing a lot of things, and it really has shown me a lot more with all those virus and death going on right now. And I know that this one has impacted me a lot more recently, so I feel like it would more people. And like I may stop occasionally to point something out in here and explain some parts that I'm taking my take on it. I hope you enjoy and see how I'm into this. Okay. Death and his sting. And I saw him, death with his mighty sting, exhaling in every breath the plight he brings. To the grave he gave victory, triumphing over life with the fear of endless sleep. Endlessly we hide from mortality. Mortally wounded from birth, we lie to ourselves from infancy, infinitely investing time in a life that will inevitably be taken by this incredible creature that stands for me, death. He manifests himself on ordinary days. His 6-foot stomach growls with hunger pangs. For his meal he cannot wait. We are forced to taste him even before the grave. We are all dying. There is no other way. I see him in Haitian and Japanese earthquakes. He's hating the escapees of his cruel wakes. I see him in poverty, impoverishing the quality of life, in regions that are reachable, and those with the reach, who find reason not to reach out to treat what is treatable. That's kind of how it is around here in Flint. Poverty lines, and how we are all, with the Flint water crisis and everything going on, we are not being treated how we are supposed to be because we have our bad water, our lead-filled water, and yes, we're getting treated. But it's not going to be fixed anytime soon. We are stuck with the bad water and everything like that. I see him in disease, taking life out of uninfected yet infected families. The virus going on right now, how it has shown us all how it can affect us even if we aren't affected by somebody who has died from this. We are infected by just not being, I'm not complaining, I would rather be in the house than being out where everyone else can get me sick. And it would really crush me if I knew someone that had, like, I know some people who have died, but I personally, like, if my father or my mother or my sibling or even just a friend or a teacher or somebody who I have looked up to had died from it, I would be crushed. I see him in oppression, pressing down the oppressed and the oppressor. I see him depression and Prozac and pain pills and razor blades with bedside wills. I see him in abuse, physical, emotional, and mental misuse. The depression and the abuse ones, I've known people who have dealt with all that. I have known people who have tried to commit suicide. I know people who have been affected by all this. And it hurts me. And I know that's death coming, Satan trying to get towards us. I see him in spiritual confusion, material obsessions, and physical possessions. I see him in marital transgressions, childhood remorse, and an ugly divorce. I see him in our slavery to appearances, appearing to care more about our images than those in dying villages. I see him in our ignorance, ignoring truth for some more comfortable inference. I see his emergence in our churches as we pull out emergency verses as deterrents to religious differences, going on the defensive, making our way of worship, making community worthless. I know people who don't really care about the community around us, but they're all about going to church. They're all about doing all this stuff and be like, oh yeah, God. You need to be a church outside of just the church building. And you have learned more about this whenever we have been out of the church building because of the virus right now. Death is killing us before we even enter the surface of the earth. We are in service to his words. It is finished. The end of our birth. We cannot escape this wretched curse, for death in his grave we constantly rehearse. Even God himself was coerced. Divinity immersed itself in humanity, humbly taking on flesh, scorning vanity. The world saw his way of life as insanity, insisting he see, speaking of this, radical Christianity. But man found him guilty, accusing God of blasphemy, performing the ultimate usurpation by slaying Christ on Calvary. But through their cowardly cross, Jesus embossed mankind with amnesty, championing over death with the beauty of his fatal injury. And I know many still doubt, and rightfully so, bring up this inquiry. What does that poor Jewish man dying on a Roman tree 2,000 years ago have to do with me? I have been asked, why does this even matter? He died. It doesn't matter. No, it matters because last week on Easter, he had rose again. He came back to life 3 days after they had killed him. He came out of the tomb, and he came back for us. He had died for our sins, and he still came back. I replied simply, Christ came and died to marry his bride-to-be, and so death could kill the groom, it could not kill the ring. God made us one with Christ in life, and matrimonies cling, now the undying church, his ever-loving wife can sing. O death, where is your sting? O grave, where is your victory? For we have risen above your misery. We will not succumb to your finality. For have overcome your infamous mystery in the infinite reign of Christ's ministry. For we are the resurrection, the insurrection of fatality. We are the risen deity, the intersection of a dead yet living body. We live through imperfections, for we died to become holy. We cannot be contained by the mouth of the grave. For we are the willing slaves of the one who rose. From the garden cave we have passed through the death to new birth. We gave the grave to the earth, and we claim today the cross worth. The body of his rising, we are the risen church. See, from this, you can even see we need to be the church outside of just the church building. We do not have to be a Sunday only Christian, a Sunday, Wednesday only Christian. I know some people just go on Sundays and Wednesdays. No, you need to be an everyday Christian. You need to be out there helping everyone no matter what. You need to be going out and impacting others, telling other people all about, don't shove it down their throat, but be like, hey, can I pray for you? Hey, do you need to just talk about what's going on? Hey, do you want to come to church with me one day? I feel like you'd be really affected by it. it's just important to help everyone as much as they can, even if it's just a shoulder to cry on, a ear to listen for it to listen, and not talk. Sometimes people just want to talk and express everything that's going on. I know I'm like that. I know sometimes I'm like, okay, I need just somebody to talk to. Don't talk to me. I need to talk. And then once I finish, you can talk. And I'll let you know when that is. But I just feel like that was very fitting with what's going on right now and everything that's been happening. And I there's a couple more in here that have really affected me. I might make more videos on that one. I don't know yet. But yeah, sorry if I talked fast at all. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone has a blessed night.